a moment. And apologies on the video, I had problems producing it today. So the audio part, I'm actually going to be doing live. All you're going to be seeing is the video part, and hopefully I won't get too out of sync on it. But yeah, whenever we're ready, we can cue that up. Alrighty, so what do we know about the Searing Plague event so far? Well, we do know that the outbreak bar is currently outpacing the cure bar by a considerable amount. Does this mean that we're all doomed? Well, that depends who you were talking to and when you last spoke to them. An interesting thing happened yesterday. Overall, the forward progress of the outbreak bar was significantly reduced. Now, I'm no statistician, but the graphs being produced even as recently as yesterday morning before the reset seemed to indicate that fighting the outbreak was a lost cause. And in this graph, you can see that the outbreak was trending to reach 100% within just a couple of weeks. After yesterday's reset, the outbreak bar was close to 40%. Undertakers and plague doctors in particular have been working so hard in reducing the outbreak bar that when it reset today, it still hadn't reached 40%. Today's data shows the outbreak bar still beating the cure bar by the time the event ends, but it also shows that very significant changes are occurring in terms of the fight against the Searing Plague. And we believe now that one of the key factors is the increasing number of plague doctors and undertakers. So we ask people who are active to consider doing the following things. Firstly, if you haven't done so already, be sure to read and understand each role. Huge shout out to Carawan and Elsia Vornair, who put together an outstanding set of graphics explaining each role and its abilities in details. You'll find their thread sticked in the Searing Plague section of the COE forums. Second, and though it should be obvious, please remain active once cured. People are investing significant amounts of their time and effort in curing you and obtaining a free Illyrian package for you. Third, find people to trade with, be that within your own community, the COE Searing Plague forums, the COE Searing Plague Discord channels, and so on. And fourth, if you haven't reached Tier 2 yet, consider becoming a Plague Doctor or an Undertaker. Doing so and using those respective abilities will help hinder the growth of the outbreak bar. And the longer that we can stave it off, and hopefully eventually beat the outbreak, the more people we can actually cure in the long run. Now, the biggest reason and excuse that I hear from folks who've worked hard to secure their Illyrian package for them is that I don't have time to participate in the event. I can't log in every 4 hours, use my trade tokens, abilities, etc. Well, I'm going to show you how just logging in even once a day can help tremendously. We should all be familiar with the timers of the 24-hour event window by now, which resets once a day at 9 a.m. Pacific time. All times shown here are Pacific. Every 4 hours, the Plague Sign Purity Seal generator kicks in. And the following now holds true for every role, regardless of which one you decide to choose. The instant ability can be used 3 times a day every 24-hour cycle. The passive ability can be used twice a cycle during the 2 12-hour windows, and the trade ability once during the 24-hour cycle. It should also be understood the abilities have various levels of impact on the cure and outbreak bars, with instant abilities having relatively minor impact, passive abilities having moderate impact, and the trade ability having the most impact. Now that we understand these mechanics, let's go back to logging in at just once a day. The optimum time to log in would be during a window of time that would, say, cover 15 minutes before the reset and 15 minutes after. I personally know of folks who've streamlined things so efficiently with their trading partners that they can do it with a window of just 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after the reset. If you're able to log in once a day during this window that straddles the reset, you'll be able to use the following abilities. The 1 trade ability, the 2 passive abilities, by using one of them before the reset and the other one just after, and 2 of the 3 instant abilities, again by using 1 before the reset and 1 just after the reset. and 2 of the 6 windows for generating a purity seal using the same before and after reset mechanic. Be sure to, if possible, to trade for plague signs and purity seals before you use your passive and trade abilities, since using the maximum of 5 plague signs or 5 purity seals greatly increases the impact it has on the cure and the outbreak bars. So, can't be online during that window of time at 9 a.m. Pacific for the reset? Well, next best time is 9 p.m. Pacific. This still allows you to use the trade ability, both passive abilities, and generate 2 purity seals. Again, remember to trade for plague signs or purity seals before using the passive and trade abilities to maximize their impact. If you have to choose, use the maximum you have up to 5 on the trade ability, since that has more impact than the passive ability. And in the worst case scenario, if you can only log in once a day at some undetermined time due to work, family, social schedules, etc., prioritize trading for enough plague signs or purity seals to at least just use the trade ability, then use any remaining seals to use the passive ability, and lastly, the instant one. Even doing just this, you can still contribute to fighting the outbreak by using the trade ability, 1 passive ability, 1 instant ability, and generating a purity seal. Naturally, the more often you log in, the better. If you use this straddling technique, you actually only need to log in 3 times during the 24-hour cycle to hit every window. In short, stay active, establish a reliable means for trading, optimize when you can log in, and together we'll beat the outbreak. Thank you, everybody, for helping on this.